Hello, Trekkies, and welcome to the first edition of Initial Thoughts, where we review new episodes of Star Trek on their release day. I'm your host, Dustin Wing, and we're very fortunate today to take a look at the brand new Star Trek Prodigy's pilot, which in true Trek fashion is a two-parter. We start off with a modified TOS theme music with a space backdrop, which flashes into a crystal being mined, and it breaks into the Delta Shield pattern. We're dropped into Tars Lamora prison colony to our main character Dahl being harassed by the chief bad guy Dreadnought about what he knows about someone called the Fugitive Zero. Immediately after, this fugitive sabotages a big machine and gives Dahl a chance to try and escape. While getting away, he bumps into another soon-to-be main character, Rock Talk, and in the end, his escape is in vain and he's sent to detention. A girl named Gwyn, who's the daughter of the overarching boss bad guy of the prison, and seemingly the rest of the series, asks Dahl nicely to find Zero, or he'll be turned over to Dreadnought and it won't be good for him. So he goes down to the lowest level of the mines, chain gang style, connected to Rock Talk to find Zero. When he accidentally causes a cave-in, Rock Talk saves him and they crash into a cave with an NX prototype series Federation ship, the Protostar. They're met there by the fugitive Zero, who reveals itself to be a Medusan being carried by a robot body. See TOS episode Is There No Truth in Beauty for more information on the hideous and formless race with telepathic powers that no humanoid may look directly upon without going insane. Anyway, it lays out that they'll need at least an engineer to get the ship moving, so they go back into the mines and recruit a Tellarite named Janmok Pog, who speaks in the third person. Dahl is caught being where he shouldn't be and sentenced to work on the surface, when a series of explosions happen, and he's able to get away again, but this time is followed by Dreadnought, Gwyn, and their army of hench robots to the Protostar. Turns out this prison mine was never about the crystals, it was always about looking for this crashed Federation ship. The rest of the crew take Gwyn hostage, get the ship to fly, and Dahl has to fight Dreadnought on the hull while flying to pull the final lever to engage the shields. He finally does and separates Dreadnought from him in the hull, and the new crew of the Protostar is finally on their way off this prison planet. Despite being a captive, Gwyn has always wanted to see the stars and seems a bit impressed. When the crew isn't sure what to do, they say the word help, and Hollow Janeway Badgie appears to teach them about the ship. This should have been the logical closure point, but instead we're taken back to the Temple of Doom, where Dreadnought confronts Gwyn's father, known as the Diviner, who's now out of his giant chamber where he was hooked up to tentacles similar to the Borg Queen, and vows his revenge. We're off to a great start to a kids' show. It seems to be aimed at 6 to 12-year-olds, and at that age, this easily would have been my favorite show. I already liked Star Trek, and my favorite action cartoon was Conan the Adventurer. This is the perfect combo of the two. You have a serialized show with a main character that picks up allies along the way, and on the bad guy side, an overarching boss, a middle manager, and an army of easily dispatchable underlings for fodder. The action is quick, and the show moves right along. Scenes are so quick, I had a really hard time pulling the screenshots, because almost every camera shot is at most a few seconds, with most lasting a split second. And though I didn't mention his antics in this episode breakdown, I like the blob character Murph a lot, and I think kids will love him. This is an A-plus kids show. Now, as far as Star Trek, I've got some problems with it. While it will likely reach a whole new generation audience with Trek, I have a lot of questions within the Trek universe that don't make a lot of sense, and maybe the writers will get really clever and answer them all by the end of the series. While we don't know exactly where in the Delta Quadrant this takes place, early on we see a Kazon selling a young cat-like alien into the prison, which should mean we're in the outer reaches of the galaxy, near where Voyager started their trek in the Caretaker. But as we meet characters, there's a bunch of Alpha Quadrant, races like a Tellarite, Medusan, and what appears to be a Morn-like Lurian. These races are far too spread out in the galaxy to be here together. I'm sure there's a clever answer to how another Starfleet ship got out here sometime after Janeway gets home and records a hologram of herself. But I have to remind myself it's just a kid's show, and continuity and logic can take a back seat to quick action and easy-to-digest plots aimed at the younger audience. And personally, I hate the ultra-widescreen format of the show. But that's just me. Before we go, I'd like to propose a small theory. The young cat that ends up in the prison mine gets left, and we see it watching the ship fly away. There's another scene where Gwyn is teaching her about languages. I have this feeling this cat is going to take Gwyn's place as a language specialist for the bad guys for a while, but the Protostar crew will rescue her before the end of the first season. Time will tell. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't, check out the primary show on this channel ranking every live-action episode of the Star Trek franchise. See you next Thursday.